All right, let's get after it. Hour number 2. Appreciate you guys here. Rowpaint.com studio, Blind Appeal College Football Hour. Mike Prater, Johnny Ballgame. Prater in the Ballgame. 208-424-9300. We asked you before. We'll ask you again. Keep texting. Who's going to, as a receiver, lead Boise State in receptions next year? Who do you got? Who's your horse in the race? 208-424-9300 on the Cloverdale Plumbing text line. Today, Prater, we're finally in the top 5. Here we go, right? Week number 3 of our top 15 most important players list. Boise State football heading into spring ball. Number, cinco? Right, Prater? That means 5 in Spanish.
I believe that is
Cinco.
correct. Yes, sir. Number 5, Latrell Caples, wide receiver, the only wide receiver that is on our list. So let's dive into that. By the way, what's the answer to your question? You threw out the question, who's going to lead Boise State in receiving next? Did you say catches, yards altogether?
Receptions.
And
Who
catches.
leads in catches? I think the favorite for me is Latrell Caples, who we'll get to in a second. He had 50 catches 2 years ago for a Dirk Cutter offense. But man, I think Dirk Cutter is going to salivate when he starts working with Prince Strawn. So Prince Strawn's my long shot to lead this team in catches. Latrell Caples, my favorite.
I'm going to go Ashton Jennings.
I said receiver. I said receiver.
You did say wide receiver.
You're always trying to bend stuff for
well,
us.
that's what I like to do. But I think the wide receiver room is going to be well spread out, very well spread out. I'm not a big believer in Prince Strawn. I think he's going to be good, and I think his potential is going to be fun to watch him grow under Dirk Cutter. But I don't know if I haven't seen Prince Strawn, the difference maker, yet. I've seen the excitement, the hype, and the enthusiasm, and a little bit of tiny growth, but not enough to make me feel like there's enough substance there. And after that, we're still all kind of on Austin Bolt watch. We need to see that happen. And then after that, it's just a whole bunch of other, guys from last year. I mean, Chase Penry was in there, but he's kind of a slot guy and never really was injured was injured, didn't get a lot of opportunities. And if he's the slot guy, well, guess what? Latrell Caples is the slot guy, and Latrell Caples is going to be 10 times better. So I think Latrell's going to come in, be the slot guy, and just be a dynamic force. So I tend to agree with you in terms of under the Dirk Cutter offense. I cannot wait to see what Latrell Caples does, but he hasn't played for 2 years, and who knows what that leg injury is. So we're going to come away from spring ball keeping a really close eye on Latrell Caples, and we'll come out of spring ball with a pretty good idea of where he sits right now.
Yeah, the man of mystery. And it's mysterious as to how the leg injury even occurred. You said it earlier. We were never told. We'll probably never know. It could have been non-football related. Maybe some people think it is just because you didn't hear what happened. A lot of times if it's a football-related injury, even at the end of the year, they'll say, oh, yeah, he did this in camp or workouts or whatever. Who knows what it is? It could be anything. But when I'm talking about the man of mystery, Dirk Cutter had him 2 years ago. He has him again, so I love that factor. Wide receiver 1 is open. It's wide open, like my boy Ryan Dinwiddie to Jay Swilly, Prater. It's just begging for a pass. I mean, who's it going to be? Maybe it will be Latrell Caples in the slot. And I will tell you this too, punt returner. Latrell Caples has more career punt returning yards as the entire team did last year. So maybe Latrell helps you in special teams. And here's the biggest nugget that people driving in their car right now may have forgot, Michael Force Prater. And that's Latrell Caples has 2 years of eligibility left. He's going to get last year back as a medical redshirt, still had another year. He was a COVID freshman. He's the last class of the kids who have COVID years. If this works out, Prater, Latrell Caples, I thought it was under assumption that this was kind of it. Big 6th-year guy. This is it. Got 2 years left.
Yeah. And I'm only focused right now. To be honest with you, I'm only focused on the spring because, again, we haven't seen him for so long, and his career has been so sporadic. He's been in Boise for 4 years, and 1 year he's been good. Look, think of him. He came here. His first year was a COVID year. His second year, he played 7 games and had 4 catches.
Yep.
Then he comes in and has the monster year under Dirk Cutter, and then he doesn't play last year. He's gone through multiple coaching changes, multiple offensive coordinator changes, multiple quarterback changes. This guy's been throwing more curveballs than any Major League Baseball player that I could even possibly name. And he's got so much swirling around. So I just need to see him establish some of that dominance that he had in 2022. If he can play well in the spring, that obviously leads into something exciting in the fall. And then if he can play well in the fall, we'll see what happens in year number 2. But I'm really kind of a baby steps guy with this guy, and just his career has just been so weird and so up and down, and maybe it's his turn to have a dynamite monster football season, and I can't wait to see how he develops under Dirk Cutter this spring.
Yeah, who's the alpha dog in the receiver room?
There isn't one. There's no answer to that.
I mean, Latrell Caples could say, like, hey, it is kind of me over here, guys. I've been here since 2020, but the other guys are like, dude, you didn't play it down last year. You were hurt. Like,
there's no alpha dog in the wide receiver.
And that's why I think it's very important this spring. And I think that's why Latrell Caples is in our top 5 of the most important players on this list.
Yeah.
He's this is 4th or what's this 5th year with the team, Prater?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
This will be year 5, and he's a 5th year junior, however that works now. We love it. But this year, I mean, maybe spring is the time that maybe he can have some type of separation, or at least let everybody know. I think if I'm Latrell Caples, I need to let that building know I'm back and I'm going to help this year. And Cutter, I mean, Latrell Caples was probably one of the happier players on the team when he heard the news that Cutter is coming back. Cutter put the ball in this kid's hands a couple years ago. Now he gets that opportunity again. Cutter likes him. I mean, you would assume. I mean, the familiarity there, I think, is going to be great for a guy like Latrell Caples, because Dirk Cutter wasn't there last year. He doesn't remember when Trell wasn't there. He certainly remembers when Trell was there. And God, just another one of these toys for Dirk Cutter to play with, Prater.
Yeah, but he's also got a lot of developing to do in the wide receiver room, because we just mentioned a whole bunch of dudes who have some potential, some promise, but have really not done anything, all the way including your boy Prince Strawn. So, I mean, some serious developing of Strawn, serious development of Austin Bolt. Matt Lauder, who was on our list earlier on this in this series, certainly has to be a big part of that. Ashton Genty's going to catch. I would assume Ashton Genty's going to catch a ton of balls. He got 38 last year.
Yeah,
that guy could catch 40 plus balls. That's a ridiculous number. Or maybe they try to move that down a little bit, focusing on him running the football and try to develop 2 or 3 other wide receivers. The wide receiver room is fascinating, and what they're going to do with it. You're right. Cutter has so many different weapons to play with. But developing those weapons between now and August 31st, that's going to be the big one. And I would imagine Latrell Caples, if he's healthy and trending the way we want him to trend and think he could trend, will be wide receiver 1 on August 31st.
What are your expectations, Bronco Nation, for Latrell Caples? Text our Cloverdale Plumbing text line 208-424-9300. Trying to get a gauge here of where Bronco Nation has this guy. Now, probably a little, I don't know, overblown on this, Prater. If it's Bronco Nation, the fans probably high expectations for Latrell. But yeah, he did come back from a mysterious injury. Who knows what that injury is? And that's going to be a bummer, obviously, if he does come back and all's well, and maybe something happens again with that leg again, because we don't know what happened with it, man.
I went back and listened to the Avalos press conference when he announced that, and he used the word a tremendous offseason. So something happened late in that offseason, because if from the time spring ball's done to April all the way up until fall camp opens up in August, if he was having a tremendous offseason, I would assume that maybe something happened in June or July, and maybe he got bit by an alligator playing golf down at Eagle Hills, or maybe some fish beat him up water skiing at Lucky.
Are there gators? Are there gators in Texas? The Gulf of the Gulf of Texas, the Gulf of Mexico in Texas. Can you find gator there? Because he's a Texas kid, Prater.
Yeah.
Maybe that alligator story is true.
I don't know if there's gators down there. Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe.
JP's looking.
JP's looking. He's going to the internet. Are there gators in Texas? Yes. I'm going to say no. But I would assume, and I shouldn't assume, but I'm going to assume that maybe that happened later in the offseason if he was having a quote-unquote tremendous offseason.
Yeah.
And Andy Avalos liked what he was doing. So this is going to be fun to see what he's doing. So I can't wait to talk to him. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll get a chance to talk to him as spring ball starts on March 11th. The spring game is on April 20th. And maybe that'll be his new coming out party in the spring game on April 20th in terms of coming out there and catching a bunch of balls and having some fun. But he's going to have to get used to new coaches, new offensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. The quarterback changes and all kinds of different things going on. And it's been his career, man. Power to this guy for just hanging in there, sticking it in there. And I think he's got a really strong, cool attitude, but that dude's been served a lot of curveballs in his career.
I think he's motivated. I would hope he's motivated, right? You got to be motivated to play for Coach Danielson, but a guy had to sit there and watch Latrell, kind of what unfolded with that team, all the drama, and he was kind of out of it. He was in the training room. He was rehabbing. He's got to be ready, chomping at the bit, Gators in Texas, to come out and have 50-plus catches again. I mean, he's had a 50-catch year. I'm sure he's looking at that. I mean, other than that, he is crazy. So full of question marks, the receivers. Is Latrell Caples, do you have, Prater, all your eggs, you're going to put them in these receiver baskets? Are you putting most of your eggs into Latrell Caples' basket? Is your confidence level that he's going to have a good year and be a real solid receiver for this team?
No.
Where your eggs going?
I need to see spring ball. I need to see him come out of spring ball healthy. I need to see if he's, as healthy as he can be. And, that's what spring ball's for. I don't even think coaches could answer that question right now. Obviously, they have a lot of, they're strong feelings for him, very optimistic about him. And I would expect the expectations down there for him to meet those. But I need to see it. So if you haven't played football for a year and a half, we'll see how it shakes out. The potential is there. Can it happen? Absolutely. We'll see. But don't forget, last time he got hurt, we said spring ball was great, sending him off into the off season, and next thing you know, he wasn't even playing.
Again, who's leading this team? Receivers in catches next year. Text 208-424-9300. It's the Blind Appeal College Football Hour. And Blind Appeal, they built a new showroom. You can go see it for yourself. It's over on Nellis Drive in Meridian. The showroom, spectacular at Blind Appeal. All the info you need at blindappeal.com. Prater, the coaching staff. Wow, are we serious? I mean, I know the roller coaster of this football team is what it is, but as of right now, Prater, I think we have a full staff down there at the Blameyer.
Boise State has a full and complete staff. It's official as of yesterday and today, and let's catch up on this coaching staff.
Yeah, let's examine. It's official, Bronco Nation. What do you think of your coaching staff? Let us know. We're going there on the Blind Appeal College Football Hour, continuing next on KTIK The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.